So I also have some questions about boundaries in personal life. And
Okay.
so my first one in that arena is, boundaries can feel especially tough when you're caring for an aging parent. What makes that so challenging?
Well, I think that's what's hard with aging parents is that we all have parents. And if our parents don't die early, we have them as they start getting older. And I don't know that any of us kind of raise our hands and say, hey, one of my favorite things to do is care for an elderly person as they're losing their memory, as they're getting more irritable, as they're having a harder and harder time taking care of themselves. But when it's our own parent, it almost feels like there's no way that we can say no to
Mm.
that because they were there for us when we were infants and toddlers and couldn't take care of ourselves. So it seems like we can't say no there. And I don't know that the recommendation that I would make is to say no, but I think the hard thing is it can become infinite.
Mm.
And there's no end to the guilt because we really want our parents to be happy. We really want our parents to age well. But if they're struggling with dementia or struggling with physical ailments or
Yeah.
struggling with loss, and you can see their loneliness and their grief, for most of us, for me, I know it just twinges your heart, right? Because I can only do so much. I've got my own big life. What
Mm.
I've also, what I've really done with clients who have struggled with boundaries with their aging parents is help them get clear on what they can and cannot provide.
Mhm.
And then the stuff that they cannot provide, what are other options
Mm.
so that they can get, so maybe we are able to hire a part-time caregiver, right? Maybe I'm making some assumptions about how much I should be doing. I had a client who had her aging mom who was struggling with dementia living with her in her apartment, and she would go to work all day and come home. And her mom was so lonely that there was this clinginess that was happening as soon as she walked in the door. And she was so tired from work and she just wanted to relax. And she was getting more and more resentful of her mom even being there. And then she was getting more and more guilty because she was resentful because of her mom, you know. And so what we ended up doing is creating a boundary, which was a time that she spent 100% attention and focus on her mom. So
Mm.
she would come home, get some coffee. When she got home from work, that first hour after work, she just sat at the table with her mom and talked, and they had their coffee together, and that was their quality time. And then after that was done, then she would wander into her own room and watch television. And her
Mm.
mom got used to that. So her mom looked forward to that special hour that they had, really enjoyed that hour. And then because it just followed this natural arc, that expectation was, okay, the hour's done. My daughter's going to go relax and I'm going to go relax. And it worked. It,
Wow.
it worked in getting extra space there, right? She
Mm.
got her balance back. She
Mm.
couldn't prevent her mom from having dementia. She couldn't prevent her mom from
Mm.
feeling lonely, but she could give her mom that gift of the hour each day. And she could give herself the gift of the restorative time after that, which she didn't have before. And she was burning out very quickly by not having that.
Wow, what I love about that, I love how you turned it into, with her, turned it into a gift and also created an opportunity for more intimacy again. So interesting, right? So interesting when the boundaries get blurry, we don't have the intimacy. And yet when you start to hone in on boundaries, it's vulnerable. It takes courage, I've heard you say. We've got to be brave. And there's that space then that becomes more precious, which is very cool.
Exactly. Because what happens if you're trying to spend too much time with people that
Mm.
need your care, you can't help feeling resentful. And that resentfulness actually creates distance and it makes the quality of your time together less precious.
Yeah.
But if you can draw a box around that time and commit to the time inside the box, then you can be 100% focused, attentive, and present with the person during that time. And then when you're outside the box, you can say, well, I'm not going to feel guilty.